And welcome back to Mizzou Hockey TV. My name's Luca Vitale, alongside me, Eli Baumstark. Eli, how we doing?
Doing well. How about yourself?
I'm pretty good. So, obviously, you are a sophomore on this team, and it's been a while since we've had you talk a little bit about yourself, but just sort of talk to the audience. Who are you exactly?
I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a biology major, and this semester I'll actually be completing my minor in chemistry. So, going to be easing off the books a little bit after this year. So, pretty excited.
Why biology exactly?
I've always had a passion for just how the world works, and I thought since everything around us is moving and alive, I thought biology would be the best thing for it. So, I don't know, it called me.
Good for you. Good for you.
Thank you.
So before we get going, because we got a lot to talk about here. I mean, we went the Gateway to the West weekend, got to talk about the Flyover Classic. But first things first, let's talk about these updated rankings that were just released on the Friday before you guys left for Maryville. You guys are now number 8 in the ACHA D3 rankings. Number 8, so you guys dropped 4 spots because of that loss to Arkansas, where you guys lost 8-5 in that second game. With all that being said, though, are these rankings, are they outside noise? Does it sort of give you like a measuring stick where you guys are? What do they do for you exactly?
I mean, it is nice to see when you're high up in the rankings, obviously it makes you feel great. And everybody does see it and we all notice it, but at the end of the day, it's not the end-all, be-all determinant factor of where our season's going. So it is a little bit of a benchmark and maybe a progress check for us. But at the end of the day, we know that we really control our own destiny. So taking things one game at a time and worrying more about how we play and the actual schedule instead of the computer rankings is a little bit more what we're focused on right now.
Yeah, that's obviously good. Controlling your own destiny, that's definitely a key thing there, especially for the MACHA Tournament this upcoming weekend. We'll get to that. But going into this Maryville series, obviously you guys played them earlier this season, 9 a.m. on a December Sunday morning.
Yes.
That was definitely a choice to play that time. Let me just say I had a very large coffee that morning. I was able to stay awake, so that's a good thing. But this Maryville team, you guys just took on number 22 on the rankings when you took them on, so that obviously enhances the resume just a little bit. But you played them on the road, and it seemed like you guys dominated from start to finish. What got you guys to just play a full 60 minutes? Because sometimes you guys did not play a full 60 minutes this season, but that was definitely a game where you guys played a full 60 minutes.
Yeah, I think a big part of it was just being ready to go. I think everybody saw those rankings. And like I said, they don't matter that much. But it's still, we felt a little bit disrespected. I mean, we beat Arkansas 3 times, lose once to them on the road on a Saturday afternoon. So coming into that Maryville game, I think everybody was pretty pumped up. And just being at home was nice, too. A lot of guys are from St. Louis. There's a lot of family in the crowd, friends, just a lot of people. So it was nice to really get everything going. And I think that's what encouraged everybody.
Yeah, that's really good. Obviously, a home cooking sort of weekend because a lot of the team is from St. Louis area, and the Flyover Classic definitely said so as well. But I do want to talk about one of the newer players. I mean, I've had Mason Buddy and Tyler Williams on the show. Ethan DeGroat is the last one to be on this show, and that's what I want to talk about today. Obviously, we knew what he did in high school at Francis Howell, his senior season especially, where he had over 40 points in 16 games, which is very impressive.
Yeah.
And going into the Arkansas series, the first game that you guys played going into the second half, he needed to settle in. That's exactly what it looked like. But going back home to Dallas Baptist, he looked settled in. He scored twice in that series. He was blocking shots. He found people like you and Mason Buddy on his line to create opportunities. So you're on his line now with Mason Buddy and Ethan DeGroat. What is his skill set like?
I mean, he is really a terrific player. It's like having Johnny Gaudreau on my line. He really is always moving, knows how to find everybody. He's a little bit on the smaller side, but it doesn't stop him from being physical and using his body to protect the puck. So along with his excellent skating and just overall puck protection abilities, got really good hands. So he's pretty much the total package and a great player to play with.
Yeah, and so now we notice, because we sort of alluded to it already, and I've already implied it, you're now on offense. You came into Mizzou as a defenseman, or just a two-way player just in general, sort of like Tyler Williams, actually, who's a two-way player. What was that transition like going from the blue line to playing offense?
You know, it was a lot of fun, just in practice and everything. I will say, first couple shifts. It was really weird getting adjusted. Defensemen don't have to sprint going forwards as often, so my legs are a little soft, I feel like. But otherwise, it felt amazing. I grew up playing forward, and I really missed it. I liked playing defense a lot, but it's just not the same as always being around the net, always trying to score goals. So it's been a really interesting adjustment, but it's also been very nice.
So when we got back to campus for second semester, right, we all knew about this Flyover Classic, but you remember that polar vortex, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking about February, and I'm like, is it going to be 20 below? Is it going to be 20 degrees? What is it going to be? Well, I'm not a fan of the cold, but I was a fan of what we just experienced this past weekend at 56 degrees. According to the weather report, that is what it reached. But during that Flyover Classic, the first ever Flyover Classic, I might add, against Lou, where you guys won 5-4, we noticed somebody in the crowd that, a familiar face, if you might add, caught a souvenir towards the end of the game, and that would be Holden Carroll. And Holden, what was that like for you?
It just popped up, and I told Epp to take a duck because it was going to hit him. He didn't know where it was, and I just kind of reached up and snagged it with a hand. So it was pretty funny. The crowd, got pretty pumped up about it. So, yeah, it was pretty fun. Just tossed it back on the ice after.
So Holden Carroll, former Mizzou hockey player, out of everybody in that crowd, which was at least 1,500 people, caught that puck with his bare hand, I might add. What was that? Where were you at that moment?
I was sitting on the bench, and I was watching the play, so I saw the puck go out into the stands, and I couldn't really see that far away, and I just see somebody stand up, and they grab it, and you can hear everybody say, "Oh," you can hear some cheers, and then on the bench someone goes, "I think that was Holden. I think that was Holden," and everybody starts looking around. He's up there, and he just stands up and starts going, "Yeah!" So everybody kind of looked around and laughed about it, and later we checked on our phones, and he'd posted on Snapchat a picture of the puck that he caught. It was pretty funny.
So Mr. 268 now, as opposed to Mr. 267?
That's right. That's right.
I think I heard Andrew Cassiopo say that on his way out of the door, which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
It was really good. But this Flyover Classic, right, it was the first time Mizzou Hockey's ever done something like this. And you guys are obviously, you're used to playing in a controlled environment. There's no outside elements like shadows and wind you have to consider. But what was that like, playing in an outdoor environment?
It was pretty amazing. Just the atmosphere in general was really something special. I mean, I had never played in an environment like that, and despite the weather, the ice was actually incredible. Maybe the best ice we skated on all season, so great to get out there. You skate a little bit faster when the ice is better, so it obviously felt good. But one thing that I don't think anybody was really ready for was the shadows, because the end that we attacked on twice actually had the sun coming in behind the net, and it created a very strange glare on the ice, and just when you're skating with the puck, moving from lit to shadow, it really messed up how you skated and kind of what you saw out there.
How do you guys adapt to that sort of situation? Because obviously you kind of got to score twice on that side before to win a game.
Yeah. I think a lot of it was just getting pucks on net, trying to find rebounds, making simple plays. It's always fun to score some nice goals, but when it's really hard, challenging like that, it's pretty easy. Once you start moving the puck, just making simple plays, things open up a lot better. So that was pretty much our game plan.
So going into that Flyover Classic, there was something I noticed because I did text Nick Spolik earlier in the morning about the lines, and I noticed you got your first usual line. I knew Dobbs was going to start the game, but something that really stuck out to me, everybody is dressing.
Yeah.
Everybody is dressing. So that included freshmen who haven't really seen the ice, like Alex Kasten, Zach Sansone, JT Baker, Grant Bader, and even the goaltender in Jackson Winkles, who I thought played very good, in my opinion. I thought Michael Christopher played really well as well. But was this sort of planned the entire time? And who stuck out to you exactly that haven't really seen the ice much this year?
It was kind of planned. I mean, we didn't know a ton, like the rules and like the questions of eligibility for those players. But we heard about before the Maryville game the night before that everybody's going to be able to play. So everybody got pretty excited. I think they all played really great games. It was great for them to get out there, no pressure environment, and really work on their skills. I think Zach and Alex, Sander and Caston, really played great games. It's really hard when you don't get a lot of reps in real situations to go out there and be confident in your abilities. And I think they both adjusted pretty well, especially to come in a hard situation like that. And I also think Jackson Winkles played a great game. He kind of got unlucky with the shadows coming in because, as we talked about earlier, the shadows coming in make it hard for the goalie to see too, because the puck moves from, you got to completely track everything along with a completely different lighting situation. So it really would make the game pretty hard.
I will say he made a really good coast-to-coast save in Jackson Winkles. I thought it was a phenomenal save. Now, we do need to talk about his goalie mask because he needs to do something about it. It's only white. He needs to have some design because I saw Christopher enhanced it just a little bit this semester, so that's really good.
Yeah.
All right, so going into this MACHA tournament, right, this is definitely a huge stakes tournament, and last year, it's sort of like a reverse sort of thing. This year, you guys are the number 1 seed. Last year, you guys barely snuck in there at the number 8 seed. However, you guys went en route to win your very first MACHA championship ever in program history, and the hero was Henry Caston, beginning that overtime goal-winning goal against Nebraska-Lincoln. So now that you guys are the number 1 seed, is there a target on your back this time around?
After our performance last year and winning that MACHA championship, I feel like we've had a target on our back the entire season. But this year especially, it's a lot different. Last year we kind of had a little bit of an underdog, at least, look about us. We weren't the same team we were just with our cohesion that we have this year. But I think internally we all knew that the number 8 ranking really didn't do us justice for how good we actually were. And obviously we proved that winning the MACHA championship. So this year just proved that we are the number 1 seed and get rid of all the doubters.
So approaching this MACHA tournament, right, you guys are number 1, and the winner of the MACHA championship obviously gets the automatic bid to the nationals. Now, whoever loses within this tournament, they are obviously out of the tournament, and they will be depending on the rankings, and the top 16 within that top 25 will be going to St. Louis to compete for the Nationals championship. So for you guys, there's a lot of different guys that were not on last year's team, like Andrew Knapp, who's a very good player on this team, Aaron Hemmer, JT Baker. You got dudes like that did not compete on last year's team in this MACHA championship. And I got the opportunity to speak with Holden Carroll after the Flyover Classic to ask him what advice he might have for these younger classmen. Here's what he said.
Lean on the veteran guys like Nick Spolek, Jack Hazelton, Jack Dobbs, Drew Driscoll, Trevor Jones, all those guys that have been there before, won it last year, scored some big goals late in the tournament, late in the games. Just lean on those guys and just kind of they're going to lead by example and show the younger guys, how to do it. But I think it's important to know that those younger guys have probably played some big games too. Andrew Knapp's got some experience, a lot of junior guys on the team, so they've played in some big games as well. So, it's going to be good for everybody to get that experience.
All right, that's what Holden Carroll had to say about his advice. Do you agree with Holden?
Yeah, I think he made some excellent points, and those guys really have great character. All those guys you mentioned, Knapp and Aaron especially, they've been playing hockey for a long time. JT and all the other freshmen have too, but they really know what it means to compete and what it means to win. So I think despite their maybe inexperience as Mizzou hockey players, they definitely know what it takes to win, and I think they'll do their best to get us there.
And last question. This past weekend, it was sort of like a MACHA tournament national sort of format. You played Maryville on Friday and then SLU on Saturday. It wasn't just the one team on Friday, Saturday, and then you either win the series, you split, or you lose it, right? Mm-hmm. It was one game, and that was it. Does that sort of help you for the MACHA tournament, like a sort of pre-test?
Yeah, I think so. When you play the same team 2 nights in a row, you really get used to their certain characteristics that they might have. So you can build up habits that you might not necessarily want. That's been our goal all season, to really play Mizzou hockey every single night. And I think this past weekend, with different teams and really no room for that, like habit building or just distraction based on whatever happened the last night, really helped us prepare and get ready to face a different team each night, which will also happen at Nationals.
Yeah. All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in to Mizzou Hockey TV. Be sure to follow us on social media, visit our website, subscribe to this YouTube channel. And again, once again, thank you for tuning in. My name is Luca Vitale alongside Eli Baumstark. We'll see you next time.